Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Call here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Just wanted to give a shout out to the one and only Destiny Windweave, and we are back with another upload. Haven't been uploading much lately just because I've been busy trying to grind camos on Call of Duty, and also today is Halloween, and also there really hasn't been that much Wizard101 news happening lately. Today is the last day to finish any Halloween festivities you have, well, both outside in the real world and of course in the game, so make sure you get all your Halloween packs and all that stuff. But yeah, we are back, and as you heard in the background, that was the Blended Grove music, which absolutely is fantastic. This has been a really great update, and it shames me to see that there's always some good, the bad, and the ugly with all these updates. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the good so we can just get that out of the way. The good, that we have a new story, Selenopolis, which is a secret place in Krokotopia, which is really nice. So it is always welcome to go back to some of these old worlds and stuff like that. Of course, we're getting a new system called Magic Weaving, which we talked about, which is pretty fun. We're also getting new teleport marker changes, which is also really good. If you place a marker down, it will only take a little bit of your mana and not like 500 million mana. So that's always welcomed. New backpack buddy system, which is also pretty cool. New spell fusion system, which is also pretty cool. It's when you're combining spells together, which is pretty fun. We have new tutorials. We got new bazaar rework, which we'll talk about soon. We got the new Krokotopia revamp, which is also pretty cool. We got new spells that comes in from auras and the 7 new world spells, which each have basically 2 spellment paths and then 2 spell fusion paths, which is pretty cool. And also additional spellment paths for some of the other spells that we've already had, such as the Wallaroo AoE hits and some of the Nova spells as well. Which honestly, I don't think they're worth the grind just for like 5 increase the damage, but I'm sure all these spellment farmers will greatly appreciate that. So make sure to farm all those spellments while you can. We also have some new Beastman forms, which are always welcomed. You know, you gotta love Beastman. We also have some new crown shop changes, which is pretty interesting. You can finally actually see everything that's in the packs. You can also see everything that's in the chest as well, which is really interesting. We also have some new gear to farm for, which I have not really seen, I guess, the stats for it yet. I guess I have through the gear crafter, and it looks like it's kind of sort of a template from the Bold Dreamweaver gear, like, you know, from the Nightmare Dungeon and stuff like that. So you know, definitely make sure you check out the gear because visually it is stunning, but stat wise I don't think it will be anything too crazy, right? And then we also have certain gear sets which are now auctionable, such as some of the masterpiece stuff from Novus, so make sure to check that out when you know, this update does come to life. Alright, that was easy. We got the good out of the way. Now let's talk about the bad. There was always something bad about these updates. Alright, not everything is crystal perfect. As much as I would love for it to be perfect, there's always some hiccups here and there. So, this one's going to be a really big one. Also, if I didn't mention it, Krokotopia is getting a revamp. It looks absolutely stunning. So when it does hit live round, make sure to check out the updated visuals. Now, this one, I'm not really sure is like completely confirmed, but I saw this in the patch notes, but it said that there's no classic mode for Krokotopia in this update. And this comes in from one of their recent little hot fixes they did on the 28th. I'm not sure if it's specifically saying for that specific hot fix or if it won't be coming in this update at all. I would imagine that it's probably just not on test run at the moment, and that you'll probably have classic mode available for the Krokotopia world whenever it's on live run, because some people just don't want to be on the new graphics. No offense to the new Krokotopia revamp. It's gorgeous, of course, but some people just may not want to be there, you know? Some people might not want it to be there. Some people might feel nostalgic, you know? But yeah, I don't know if that's definitely meaning like the update in this game. I would imagine that's going to come on for launch, so I think everybody should be okay with that. I think nobody has anything to worry about. But of course, let's go into the other bad, which there are even more bad news, right? The Bazaar in Power controversy has been all over the place. It even spawned in a new iteration in the Richard cinematic universe called Richard the Hate Caller with the orange hair and all that stuff. That was crazy, right? I did not think that Empowers would generate that much controversy, but I guess it did, right? And of course, the backstory between Empowers you can look up on your own time, but basically they're just used as kind of like a in-game currency or an in-game trading system in a sense, you know. Personally, for me, I just don't care for it much, and I don't think whatever they were, I guess, trying to do really bothers me that much. Of course, it's going to affect everybody, depending on if they go through with that specific change in, I guess, sell value or whatever it is. I don't know much about the specifics. It all just seems like a lot of confusion. I think Richard Hatecaller even mentioned how usually it's a step forward and always usually a step back, or usually they're always trying to like make a problem. I don't know, but personally for me, I just don't really care much about Empowers or whatever's going on with the Bazaar. And from what I've heard, at least, I don't think that the change is actually going to be implemented. It seems like that's one of those things where they might actually back off from whatever they were trying to do. So luckily for that, we don't have to worry about that. I think a similar issue happened with the World Furniture Packs. For some reason, they wanted to remove them out of Ground Shop, and there was a lot of pushback and controversy from the community, and ever since then, they have not touched the World Furniture Packs ever since. So hopefully this is one of those other things where they just don't touch it anymore, because it generally isn't a problem. You know, it really isn't a problem. So, yeah, hopefully we don't touch anything else that's a problem. Another problem, speaking of problems, magic weaving seems very tedious and very monotonous with its labors. And I think we made a video talking about magic weaving and stuff like that, kind of the pros and cons of it. And you unlock this by defeating Malistaire, or, you know, pretty much completing Dragonspire. You know, so you're going to see a lot of level 50 wizards in here, and just all around, everybody's going to be trying to rank up. I think the hardest rank out of this entire thing will definitely have to be rank 1. I feel like rank 1 is probably going to be, like, the hardest thing to get, just because the weaving quest for it is very, very long and very tedious. You gotta catch fish, you gotta defeat an enemy an X amount of times. It might even seem really boring in a sense, right? Now, they did add an additional weaving quest, which is, I guess, something regarding team up, which we did mention in one of our videos, so I'm glad that they thought of that as a good idea as well. But overall, though, even then, I think it just comes to the point where, you know, we talk about Wizard101 becoming a chore, and then it kind of sucks the magic out of it, you know. I understand a lot of people, and I think a lot of people should understand that a lot of people are generally busy. Like, people got stuff to do, okay? I'm grinding camos on Call of Duty Black Ops 6, spending time with my mom, right, which is sick right now, okay? Everybody's getting the cold lately, right? Luckily not for me, knock on wood, right? Watching Thursday night football and college football, spending time with the family. I don't want to fight a boss or an enemy 60 times. I think that's a little bit too much. Even though they're low-level bosses and you can easily one-shot them, it just seems like this tedious grind for nothing. So magic weaving will definitely draw in some controversy when it hits live realms and everybody finally figures out, you know, what it is. Like, oh, what's magic weaving? They're like, oh, I gotta do all these labors. I might not actually do it. Personally, for me, I only did rank 1 because I wanted that energy blade spell, which is really cool. It's kind of like its own dedicated storm blade in a sense, and that will definitely depend on, you know, whatever school you are or whatever magic weaving school you go into. But yeah, personally for me, I'm probably just going to do rank 1 and just forget about it. And that's all subjective to your own opinions and your own play style. You'll have some people that will do it. You'll have other people that might not want to do it, right? And then, of course, the other bad is that there's no new Zeke quest for the additional training points, which kind of sucks, man, because we have all these new awesome spells. I definitely think that they could have put in a Zeke quest in here, maybe just to give us that extra training point that might help give us one of those new spells, because I know that the whole training point thing has been another controversy, talking about, you know, trying to get enough training points to train all these spells. In retrospect, you can't train all of these spells. You will have to make sacrifices to your deck, because you just can't train enough of the spells, right? If you want to train Tower Shield, make sure to do that spell mint trick that we talked about, just to try to conserve as many training points as you can, because right now there are a lot of spells. A lot of spells. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I know the moment you've been waiting for, the ugly. Let's talk about the ugly of this update, which might seem subjective for you guys. Keep in mind that we're making this like the good, the bad, the ugly video. This is all subjective. You could probably ignore most of the bad and some of the uglies, right? This is all kind of subjective. This is just what I've been seeing from the community as I observe them. But for me personally, I have been enjoying this update. I really do enjoy this update. But let's go into the ugly. And the ugly, drum roll, is that, no surprise, that this is a very, 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 very buggy test realm, right? And the problem with that is that when you have a lot of bugs in a test realm, there are sure to be a lot of bugs that will reach the live realm, which will create a bad experience for most of the player base, especially for the players that don't use social media, or, you know, don't use Discord, that might not keep up with what's going on in the community, or even watch me or anybody else included. Just believe it or not, a lot of people don't use social media, okay? It's only a small handful that use social media. Not everybody is logged into Twitter 24/7. So yeah, I think we will definitely see some bugs in this update. As much as I would love to give them the benefit of the doubt, we have seen it nonstop over and over again. These updates have just been really terrible this year. I mean, Portal Apparel, I don't even know what happened with the Portal Apparel. We already talked about that. Don't even get me started on everything else. It's just, it's a lot, man. It's a lot, of course. And, of course, this update is doing a lot. So they definitely will. Every time I say take their time, I feel like they don't take their time. And I think it's just something in the workplace, or if it's just a quota that has to be met for the investors or the higher-ups or something like that. I honestly don't know what's going on in there, but just know that there will most likely be some bugs. So try not to be too harsh on the devs and the company and all that stuff. I'm sure there's just nothing they can do about bugs and glitches 24/7, but you know, it's a thing with most MMOs from one comment I saw, so I guess this should be normal in a sense. For some people just don't like bugs. For me, I just don't care. I'm used to it. Another ugly part is that solo players may struggle in this specific area of Crocotopia. There are a lot of interesting bosses out there that you may want to reconsider finding a team for. I actually got stuck on a quest myself, and I don't even know how to like beat that specific boss, like solo wise. Like, I have something in the henchman's and nothing's working. He just keeps reviving himself, so I'm like, okay, well, I think I've had enough. I'll probably do it on live realm. Kind of like probably more reason why I'm not really a solo quester as much. I'll solo some bosses that I know are super easy, but if I get stuck on something, then I'll probably just ignore it. I mean, I might join a team up in test realm just to see if I can find a little questing buddy to quest with, but it's really difficult to find people to quest with on test realm, just because not a lot of people actually play test realm. A lot of people like to wait till live realm hits, so I think I'm probably just gonna do that too and just wait till live realm hits. As much as I would love to see, or at least get caught up to whatever the final boss is or whatever that is, I'll probably just wait till live realm, just because I don't have anybody to quest with. I'm lonely, which is crazy because I'm a Wizard101, right? I should have friends, but you know, I just don't feel like disturbing anybody or asking for help. I always hate asking for help. You know, that's always a thing for me. Like, I love helping people, but I hate asking for help in return. But like, hey, can anybody help me in test realm? No hands are raised, so you know. Anyway, another one, which is a very big ugly, which also has probably another big controversy, is magic weaving, which we had recently just talked about magic weaving in the good, because as much as magic weaving is good, it also has a slight bad spot. So specific spells, which we talked about, such as Grimzilla, which is basically a death spell in a sense, it cannot be learned by a death wizard, right? Now this is weaving locked, and I'll actually show you right now what I mean. I'm not sure if the death tree sells it, but we'll go to the death tree, we will train, we will go on to the second page, and we're gonna see Grimzilla right here, right? You see that this is a pretty awesome death spell, right? It does a lot of damage, and then it does a 3 times gambit, which would give you a storm blade, which might not make a lot of sense, but you'll see that death magic weaving only, death weaving rank 3, and this is for the storm school only. That means that a death wizard cannot actually like cast this spell physically, right? Like you can't learn this spell overall because, well, only a storm wizard that is weaving into the death category can cast this, right? And that's where it gets, and that's, you know, another controversy comes in, because I know a lot of people would love to cast all these spells, but the fact how they are school specific into the magic weaving might definitely, like, I don't know, in a sense, draw people off guard, you know, in a sense, like, oh, well, I can't train for this spell, so, you know, what's the point of, you know, magic weaving in general if I can't, you know, level up these things, or not even level up, or just use these spells in general, right? So, again, it's all, like, subject to whatever, I guess, your fun. I mean, there are a lot of pretty awesome spells in here. I'm not gonna lie. There's really cool spells, but I mean, it's just, it comes to that sense where it's like, okay, well, is it really worth it if, you know, I don't want to use any of these other off-school spells? In a sense, another ugly could be that some of these spells are pretty much just old, retextured, old assets from years and years ago. So some of these might not actually look visually appealing to the eye. You probably already seen these spells from data leaks like years and years ago, right? Which, yeah, it's pretty fine to me. Personally, I don't really care much about spell animations or whatever, but I don't know, but, you know, again, that's all subjective to your own taste. I mean, it's all subjective. You can't even get some of these spells until you're, like, up to rank 3. We just talked about magic weaving being very tedious, so it will definitely be a big grind for you in order to get some of these spells. So make sure that when this does come out in live realm that you are prepared, because it is going to take quite a bit. It's just gonna take quite a bit of time. But again, magic weaving is all subject to change and stuff like that. And now, last but not least, a bonus feature: my own personal thoughts about. Oh wait, the tome is working now. Oh, I can finally look at the tome. Wait, what? Use the tome of Oh my god. The tome finally... Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Here's my problem. Okay. Here's my problem. Because I literally just said this in the last video. Why did it say to check out the Tome of Weaving in the Dejurti family tomb in Krakatopia, and it wasn't there? But then I go over here to Salinopolis in the Blended Grove, and it's here. Okay, my rating has dropped now to like 9.10. You would have had a 10. Listen, or not, I'll still give it a 10 out of 10. Oh, also, another reason, make sure to take a screenshot of these, because I don't think you can actually activate the Tome of Weaving again once you do click on it. So make sure you take a picture of all of this. Now, luckily, you only have to do 3 out of the 5 of these labors, okay? So just make sure you're taking a picture of all of these. Yeah, defeat Shakes O'Leary 15 times. Defeat 60 O'Leary Prowlers. Like, again, some of this stuff seems really monotonous. Use Join the Team Up kiosk in Old Town to help 30 teams in Marleybone for Storm. 30? 30? Okay. Dude, you are doing way too much. Bro, are you 30? I mean, okay, I can do that. I know some of y'all can't. 30 team-ups. Specifically in Marleybone, too. Now, remember, we mentioned back in the day how there's a lot of level-gated content. I don't know if that still applies to this day, but we talked about that many years back. For some reason, they just level-gated the team-ups and all that stuff. For no reason. For no reason. My head hurts. Okay, anyway. Now let's get back on track. My personal opinions about this update. I love it. There's definitely a lot of things that I don't like. For example, magic weaving. At least the labor part. I like the spells, especially Energy Blade, which is like, you know, its own kind of sort of dedicated Storm Blade in a sense, you know. But, you know, I don't know. Magic weaving will definitely be subjective for a lot of people. The story for Salinopolis is amazing. It's really cool to see the server maintenance going down in 15 minutes. That's fine. We got plenty of time. Salinopolis is pretty fun. The visual-wise, it's really gorgeous. We're in the Blended Grove, like I said. It's just really gorgeous checking out all these school trees, and just the colors are very vibrant. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 for all of that. And of course, you know, coming in from the bad and the ugly, it will definitely depend on what they decide to do. You know, there's always those last second changes. But for me personally, I've been having a lot of fun with this update. The dungeons kind of remind me slightly bit of the difficulty of Catacombs, but not really. Like, some of these bosses will be hard for some people, which again is a subjective matter. You're gonna have some people that don't have the best of the best gear, and then you're gonna have another side that has the best of the best gear, right? So difficulty wise, it might actually be subjective. But in a sense, though, I really do like this test realm. This has been a very fun update so far, and I can't wait for everybody to try it out in live realm. Been trying to convince my other friends like Nicole to kind of come back, you know, but I don't think, still the energy isn't there for people to come back in a sense. Of course, you need membership to do anything at that point, but overall, though, it's a fun update. I mean, I haven't really had much quarrel with it, including the Bazaar, whatever they're trying to do with the Bazaar or Empowers. At this point, I pretty much forgot what they're even trying to do with Empowers. Like, my head hurt. It's not just Empowers, but just the sell pricing and the value, I guess, for everything else. I think it depends on, like, the quantity or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just a headache to that point where it's just not worth my time. But no, I mean, I think I'm really happy for this update, and I think the devs did a great job. Probably my only main concern are going to be the bugs and the glitches. I can already tell that this is going to be quite a buggy mess, right? Even if it seems like they patched up most of the big bugs, there will always be some minor bugs to be in there that might become big bugs. So we shall see on launch, but I will not be shocked or surprised if something goes haywire. And that pretty much wraps it up, at least for me, on Test Realm. I think I'm pretty much done with Test Realm. We'll go back to the Wizard101 news whenever they decide to, I guess, post more stuff. Like I said, it's just been quiet on the news side of things, probably just because it's Halloween and it's, I guess, sort of a holiday, and I guess a lot of people are taking off or whatever. But anyway, we will see what happens. It's going to be November and soon December, which means we will get the 12 Days of the Spiral soon. And, of course, also the Live Realm update. Whenever that happens, I will let you guys know in another video. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. I would love to know your thoughts about this update. Personally, for me, like I said, I'm just kind of chill with it. I don't really care much about some of the other changes, but the story is gorgeous. I mean, everything about it is amazing. 10 out of 10, man. Everybody did a great job working on this. Shout out to all the devs, the artists, everybody. Y'all did a fantastic job, and yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out.